All my content is found on the public domain, and I operate this channel using the fair use and fair dealing guidelines together with my own opinions, which are not necessarily true. Evening all is 9:45, Sunday the 2nd of August. Let me just brighten that up a bit. There you go. How are you? Right, let's get into it. I've got loads to show you. Loads. And I'm going to start with this. Remember I showed you this, that Meghan, indirectly, Meghan gave some immigration charity or something 8,000. Well, I looked into it because I just couldn't understand how it came from the Royal Foundation. And this is what I think happened. Right. The Duchess of Sussex's Together cookbook, she actually copyrighted all that into either her own name or her charity Sussex Royal. There was no way that the Grenfell people were going to have their own money, not while Meghan was in the loop, if you know what I mean. So eventually, at this time last year, a whole year ago now, they had sold 130,000 copies this time last year. So in 1 year, they sold 130. So you can probably guess that by now they've sold 250 copies, a quarter of a million copies at £10 each. That would make 2.5 million, wouldn't it? Anyway, the figures I'm using here are from last year, so it's going to be more. What they did then was spend 204.28 on the actual kitchen, doing the kitchen up and training for the staff. That came to 232,551, see there? So then what I did was I subtracted it from the 557 that they said they made, and there's £325,087 left over. They're not going to give it to Grenfell because Meghan, as you know, she likes to keep, well, especially on the money, keep her hand in, doesn't she? So I think what's happened is that when the Sussex Royal Foundation closed, I think that William stepped in and said, wait, we will look after that money. You're not taking it out the country. Either because they were leaving the country or because their charity was about to fold. William, I think, made sure that it went into the Royal Foundation. So that's why we can safely assume, well, I know that it's Prince William that has paid the money, or the Royal Foundation, I should say, to the... But you see, now I don't think Prince William would give money to My Grateful, because I've read on the net that they charge, I took a look at it yesterday, they charge £80. Here we go. This is an event that they've done. They teach cookery. That's all they do, teach cookery, foreign cookery. So when the immigrants come in and they land on their boats in Dover and their rubber dinghies, they go up and they teach them how to cook. Forget about English, just cook. But they're charging £80 for 2 hours of remote viewing. The tickets are £80, as you can see at the bottom there. See it? So they're not exactly giving anything away for nothing. So I don't know whether that's kosher in Prince William's book. Nevertheless, they've given them 8,000, but that's not a lot of money. What we've got to keep an eye on now, although I don't think we really have to, because I do believe William's trusted, but of course when you lie down with dogs, you get up with fleas. And unfortunately, Prince William is going to have to answer a lot of questions on behalf of his brother now. But that's what I think has happened anyway. So the good news is that Meghan Markle didn't get her sticky little paws on it. Right, Camilla Long in the Times. Whew, today's article. All aboard the Freedom Bus, cries Meghan as her friends are crushed under the wheels. You will by now have hopefully recovered from Prince Harry and Meghan's latest round of tiara twanking and courtier yanking. In Finding Freedom, we were treated to a devastating string of teeny, tiny, regal microaggressions, including the humiliating non-moment that the Duchess of Cambridge didn't give the Duchess of Sussex a lift to the shops in her Range Rover. I'll stop there and I'll just tell you, I checked this on a map. From Kensington Palace to Kensington High Street, which is one of the main thoroughfares, shopping streets in London, it's less than 500 yards. I mean, I'm not a very good walker, but even I could do that. It's no distance. So anyway, but of course, Meghan had to bring this up in her book because she felt slighted. She came into this family with a very gung-ho, treat me special attitude, and of course, it's all coming undone for her now. We also learnt that Prince William had not always been 100% complimentary about La Sussex. He once referred to her as this girl in a private, or so he thought, conversation with the dedicated privacy crusader Prince Harry. I say there, again, he could have called her that woman, couldn't he? That would have been far worse. I mean, this girl isn't a bad thing at all. Anyway, Prince Harry, who promptly leaked it, it was astonishingly petty stuff. In return for this perceived disloyalty and snobbishness, Harry and Meghan now appear to have unloaded 10 tons of emotional violence on William and his circle. It's funny, I thought as I read the extracts from the 368-page blowout, that aren't vicious public slaggings and global bullying something Meghan and Harry are supposed to be against. And if you thought it was bad being the couple's relatives, you should see what it's like being their friends. Meghan seems to expect such blind loyalty that friends are routinely feel obliged to telephone newspapers and give anonymous quotes about her calm and her penmanship, and in some cases the Duchess knows they're calling, in others she claims she doesn't. In February 2019, for example, 5 friends secretly telephoned the People magazine to gush about how much Meghan loves her animals. Meghan says she didn't know about the interviews, but I can't help wondering who else would have come up with the phrases. She makes everywhere she goes seem like a holiday. She personifies elegance, grace, philanthropy. It's pure Meghanese. One of the friends even cleverly thought to mention that Meghan had selflessly written a letter to her father to mend their broken relationship. The letter's now the subject of a court case the Duchess is waging against the Mail on Sunday. The Duchess says the paper shouldn't have printed a private note. The paper says the letter wasn't really private because it had already popped up in People magazine. If the Mail can prove Meghan sanctioned the letter stuff by cross-examining the 5 friends in open court, her privacy case collapses. There's a lot riding on these 5 friends. At this point, as one of Meghan's maca-licking buddies, I might be vaguely asking whether the friendship with Meghan has been all it's cracked up to be. Having spent the past 5 years, secretly or otherwise, conducting a PR campaign for her by feeding stories about her bomb-ass roast chicken, I now risk being further thrown under the bus and unveiled just so that she can have her triumphant, post-court, tear-jerking, street-style moment a la Amber Heard. On Wednesday, in a fresh submission to the court, the Duchess said unmasking these friends would be an unacceptable price to pay, as they were private citizens and young mothers. But Kate's a young mother, and Meghan hasn't ever defended her. Far from it. She has apparently allowed a whole book to be published tearing her down. Why wouldn't she screw over her mother friends if it suited? She's already thrown away far more than mere friends. Her own family, his family, even their home over here. It's devastating to think how far this humorless couple have fallen in their pursuit of what they call happiness. They've gone from Jay-Z and Beyonce to trying to persuade a judge that Meghan has some kind of psychic hold over her mates who leak positive stories without telling the subject first. There are sad video messages with the usual authoritarian language. Just a few days ago, a comatose Prince Harry issued one from some rapper's brocaded toilet, reminding us of what is right. Whoever's words he was reading, they didn't feel like his. The script is now all wrong. Harry isn't an eco-traveller, any more than Meghan's anti-bullying campaigner or a feminist. Using young mothers as a bargaining chip in court is about as feminist as marrying your husband for status or for being a princess. It is about as feminist as allowing gossipy anecdotes that spark a public catfight with your sister-in-law to go unchecked because you versus Kate is the bitchy story that will generate the best headlines. Lots of women use feminism merely for self-promotion. Meghan isn't a feminist, she never was, and yet nothing will stop this couple trying to prove they are the victims, and that's in the Times, and that's one of the best respected papers in UK. Well done, Camilla Long. Right, let's go on to Twitter. I got a few things I've been doing on Twitter, and they're quite funny. I love a laugh. With a Yankee Wally. Oh, Meg39 is the hashtag. But you're going to see what's happening with Meg39 now. My heading now is, I'm not going to lie, August is going to be a very hard month for Megxit. See pin tweet. You are needed more than ever. What they've done, these bloody sugars, is they've made this calendar for August because, as you know, it's Meghan's birthday on the 4th of August, I think, and it's Harry's coming up shortly after. Oh, yippee, so they've decided to make August an entire month of Meghan worship. They've even told you what to do and what day to do it. For instance, Saturday the 1st was Little Meghan, which was all pictures of Meghan when she was a child. This is interesting, I'll tell you why in a minute. Today was Instagram and take. Tomorrow, photo shoot. And then birthday wish for Meghan, of course, because it's her birthday. Oh, look at it. It's all there. So I put that up for that. And the hashtag is Meg39. I put, if anyone has been affected by this poster, the crisis helpline will be open throughout August, where counselling will be freely available, group chats, therapy, etc. And I've hashtagged it, okay not to be okay. Sure. Right, okay, Omid. You know Omid Scooby, the one that wrote the book. Well, let me show you this. Bottom left is Omi how he used to look. Top right is Omid how he looks now. The similarity of what the work has been done. Bottom right is a girl called Jodie Marsh. I don't like to be rude, but in Britain I'd call her a slapper. She's anything for attention. And that was his old friend. When he looked like he did on the bottom left, he used to knock around with Jodie Marsh. Now he knocks around with Meghan. There's not a lot of difference between the two of them. And look at this, Meghan got sponsorship deals on her global brand, The Tig. But unlike her pal Serena Williams, it wasn't Nike. And that's one of her Tig posts. Isn't that amazing? I mean, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with advertising Aesop's post-poo drops. Wait there, post-poo drops? That doesn't add up, does it? She can't even do that right. Post is after, pre is before, isn't it? Pre. So it says 3 drops of Aesop post-poo drop before sitting. Well, it should be Aesop's pre-poo. Meghan. Gosh, shame on you. Oh, yeah, there's another one. There's a good person to cover on Twitter. To follow on Twitter. Oh, Margot Chatting, she is funny, and I do like her, and I am sort of pushing her in a little way, because she gets a bit carried away, and what she's done lately now is this is what the trolls do on Twitter, as you know. They all call us, we're racist, or we're jealous, or we're old, or we're fat, or we're a Karen, or we're ugly. Also, we're on meth, or we're stupid, or we're see you next Tuesday, or a bitch. Hate. Oh yeah, and they're also saying now that Murky Meg is possibly the #1 most dangerous anti-Meghan human being on the planet. Fact. Repeat until blocked. See, she's onto them. She knows exactly what they're up to, and she's done a few. Oh, and talking about feminism, she put up an advert from 1954. This ad is from 1954. Most of you, I mean, I understand what they're saying. The Queen is probably the best example of a feminist that there is. Anyway, let's go on to what... I've done that. Oh, this is a funny one. Look at this now. When Meghan first met Harry, you know about the bananas. Everyone knows about the bananas. She never... They were trying to keep their relationship secret. And it's coming out in the book now that, you know, they were engaged a month before they told the public. Well, Meghan can't help herself. She's got to put So on her Tig, of which she did have 2 or 3 million followers, she put 2 bananas, and in the comments you can see things that they knew that she was referring to Harry. And she put also, and she wore that necklace with the H and the M and things like that. And so I said, that was Meghan to Harry in 2017. It says, hey you all, I'm dating Prince Harry. And that's Harry to his therapist in 2020. You know, the therapist. Harry, draw me a banana and what it means to you. Oh, there we go. I've had this one a while, but it's always a good one. Meghan's new coat of arms. And Meghan's dad has finally given up hope of reuniting with her. And he said that he's given up. He would love. He's still going to try and see Archie, but he's given up on Meghan. He doesn't like the person that she's become, and he's going to spend the rest of his days travelling, because I suppose he can. Maybe he's made a bit of money and good for him. Maybe he'll come to England because he's read enough books on the subject. Oh, look at this, Meghan Markle. This is from Yacht Girl MM. This is Gina Nelthorpe Cown. And this is how Meghan and Gina met, and Meghan's crib sheet for Gina. She wanted to be a humanitarian, animal rights, philanthropic, but her main focus is women's rights. She wanted to be recognised as a humanitarian. And it was Gina that actually made this happen for her. She wanted to develop her own causes and da-da-da-da. I became her agent. At the event, Meghan was asked for a few words, and she snapped, "Talk to my agent." Gina adds, Meghan told me later on the phone that she had been sitting in the first-class lounge and was asked to move seats to make way for a group of male Colombian dignitaries. She was clearly upset and told me that she got up gracefully, picked up her bag and moved away. But I suspect she was seriously irritated. It was as if this would be the last time anyone would ever ask her to move again. When Meghan then met Harry, Gina emailed her asking permission to use a photograph of her from the youth summit, and her lawyers responded. In other words, Gina was ghosted, and Gina did more for Meghan than... Yeah, she must get thousands of emails, but it would have been nice if she just dropped me a line to say her lawyers were handling it rather than ask them. There's Gina on the left there. She's got a lovely face. Dating Harry while still with boyfriend Corey. There's more proof there. Lunch with my lady on May the 1st, 2016. And June the 3rd. I don't understand that one, but I know that she double dated. Yeah. Here we are. I've done that one. Yeah, right, I've done that. Oh, look at this. Yeah, look at this.
Hey, it's Meghan Markle.
Oh, I can't stand it. No. Yeah, there's proof here. This is from Crystal. There's so many Vanity Fair. There's so many magazines and tabloids out there that are saying, and have said in the past, I should say, the couple cooperated with two journalists on a biography due out in August. This is from months ago, but they said it, and it's now. What happened is they said they corroborated with journalists, and when the Times, paid them for those 3 excerpts that I've read to you a couple of videos ago, it was only after they got the money that they doubled back and said, no, we didn't. So they kept that little story going to get maximum money from the Times. That's what's been said. When you think about it, the Times would pay more for a story if they thought it came from Meghan and Harry's mouth than over an unauthorised biography. And as soon as they got the money, they then said, no, we didn't. But the truth is they did. And they're only making things worse for themselves. The pair have been, and this is in the Oprah magazine. And Omid Scooby himself said quite recently that Meghan wrote that letter to her father knowing full well that it would be made public. Now, why would she do that? Because it benefited her, or so she thought. That's the things, isn't it? Oh, look at this. Yeah. Yeah, okay, that's it. I covered all that. Yeah, it's okay. Baroness Brooke is asking the question. So let's go from that now. We can go back into here because this is where I've got more stuff. Oh, by the way, that picture, the left one is a flag. It's a little island in between England and Ireland, and it's called the Isle of Man. And that's their flag. And every time I see Meghan do that yoga pose, it just reminds me. Incidentally, the Isle of Man is where all the Bee Gees were born. You know, the Bee Gees, Jive Talking and Saturday Night Fever. They were born on a tiny little island just off the coast near Blackpool or Manchester, called the Isle of Man, and that's the flag. So, and there's a picture there of Prince Harry as a child and how much he looks like Archie. I've never thought that Prince Harry and Meghan are not the parents of little Archie. I'm sure he is, but she didn't give birth to him. That's all I'm saying. Right, I've got another one here to read out now. These are the pictures. What I've done, I know it sounds dreadful, but call me obsessed, I suppose. But I've gone through the timeline of this Meg 39 and I've started snapping screenshots because I've been following this now for, gosh, it seems like my whole adult life. But I know the pictures that have been released and the ones that haven't just by looking at them. And if I see a picture, for instance, let me see now, this one. I hadn't seen that one before. And I hadn't seen that one before. So I'm saving them because I'm thinking, first off, I'll see if they've appeared on the TIG. If they have, then I'll cross them off because anyone could have got them off the TIG. But if I come across one that wasn't on the TIG and that I haven't seen before, that would be a pretty rare photo. Then I'll find out who put it up originally. And then you've got an idea of who Meghan is totally collaborating with. I know it's a bit Columbo, isn't it? But I don't mind doing it. And this is the thing she did on the TIG. See, Love Hearts in London. This was July the 3rd, 2016. And then somebody says something like, you know these people that are talking to her, like Thomas Goddard, still single or maybe in love. I'd rather kiss your soul. You know, when you open a blog or even a Twitter account, you always get those Middle Eastern perverts. Usually they're the bloody Egyptians over in Sandy Landy and, Pakistanis, Indians. They are, as soon as they see a woman, they just besides them, and Nigerians. So if you've got like 3 or 2 million followers, I reckon that maybe 500,000 of them will be those men just waiting for you to do the bikini shots and stuff like that. So it's nothing to be proud of, if you know what I mean. And there's another one, July the 1st, swooning over these London peonies, spoiled rotten. And look at that, somebody said, I wonder if these were from our prince. She hadn't deleted that comment, has she? You know? Man, they are beautiful peonies. But anyway, the next thing then I wanted to tell you was how many, look at this, I got these from her bloody TIG. Look at all these quotes. Absolutely shocking. But at least with these quotes, she does actually credit the person that actually originally wrote it. But she did a quote not that long ago on the TIG, and I don't quite like it. I don't like it. It sounds very arrogant to me. You know, I no longer have patience for certain, you know, not because I've become arrogant, but simply because I've become arrogant. That's what I always think. And apparently it was originally said, if you can see down in the bottom, by Meryl Streep. And all of a sudden then it gets put onto the TIG, and I don't think Meryl Streep's name is there. There's somebody called Jose, but no Meryl Streep. But she's known for plagiarism, isn't she? I've got a couple of little things I want to show you now. That, that was her goodbye from the TIG. We're going to cop a lot of the TIG this week, but I'm going to try not to bore you with it because Meghan Markle's handwriting. I did another thing with the handwriting. I know, I'm stupid, but I got a load of her letters, and I started making a note of the letters that she did the big swoop over, you know. Now this one, she's quite controlled. She's only going over the H's and the D's, except for the odd few, like April, see there, and things like that, and her name, of course. But H and D are the ones she's doing on here, so she actually just writes it normal and then just go boof over the, see. Later on, when she wrote, that's in 2011, when she was writing her letters in 2014, I distinctly remember her doing it on the K's, and the J's, I think. In fact, what I'm trying to say to you is it isn't calligraphy at all. It isn't. It's actually insulting to call this calligraphy. I can't do calligraphy, but I was taught italic in school. My handwriting is italic, which is kind of spiky, but even that's not calligraphy. Oh, by the way, just for the people that didn't, that's my degree certificate. Somebody questioned me on it. It's history and religious studies. You're right, it wasn't theology, it was religious studies. I'm very sorry. It was in 1998, and I was quite old. I was like 42 when I graduated, so look at this one there. Isn't that great? Yep. Here we are. Just Henry's cousin, incidentally, is one who's admitted to being in touch with Meghan. In fact, Meghan has rung Henry's cousin. And this is Henry's cousin here. When you have to graduate, but you have to keep coming for racist MFs, coming for our good sit. And look at the words. Nasty. And look at this there. She's carrying her own paper. Archie Well-Found spotted this. She had the sack from the TIG. She wasn't going to be working on the TIG. She was working her notice. So not many people will go out smiling. If you have your cutout to take home with you, it usually means you're off, doesn't it? She seems to be happy because anything to do with her makes her happy. But we've got proof of that. I'm trying to find where it is now. Of Meghan. Somebody did this with Meghan's picture. Look at this. Just a bit of photoshopping. She doesn't have to change her look. That's Samantha going to Kensington Palace. I don't think it was just before the wedding, I think. She went over to hand deliver. That's her boyfriend there. What's his name? It'll come to me. And they went to Kensington Palace, and the Sugars like to say it as if she got turned away, but she didn't. The security man there is saying to her that they weren't at the palace. So Mark, that's his name, Mark gave him a letter to give to Meghan. No reply, of course. And out they came. And she's got MS. And then, look, somebody spotted her. I think the newspaper spotted her looking at the masks of Meghan and Harry. And I spoke to Sam shortly after this, and she said, have a look on eBay. They've got a mask of me on there. She was dead chuffed at that. I do love Sam. And look, she's got the mask there. I think she puts it on as well. But she's a good sport, Sam. Nothing, no side to Sam. Nothing to worry about with Sam. Here's a nasty picture of Meghan there. She's not that pretty, you know. Oh, look at her nose there. There she is there. Chubby chops there. Right, what else am I? Oh, yeah, look at this. That's Epstein Island. And if you look at those three girls, one of them is Meghan with a crow on her shoulder. And the other two are Heather Dorak and Lindsay Ann Roth, I think. It's just made a joke of it. Oh, God. Ghislaine Maxwell is in deep trouble. There's pictures of her now. Meghan Markle organised a visit to UK in 2015 where she was also interviewed by a reporter. She used to ring the Mail and she used to ring the Paps. In fact, I got something here that's very funny. I got to go on to Tumblr to get it. It is funny. Wait there, 2 secs. I think I'm probably finished now. Oh, there we are. Right, let's get on to this one. This is good. Come on, wake up. That's it. Oh, have you ever seen this? This is good. Watch this now. Look how she itches. She has no manners. All right, we all have a little itch, you know, but when the cameras are on you, I would have never done that. I don't think anybody would have. My mother would have gone mental. At the wedding, apparently, when they got to this part of the church, Prince Charles tells her to either put it up or pull it up. He was referring to the flowers. And she said, what, my dress? I don't know if that's true, but he did ask her because she thought she has no respect for flowers. I mean, when you do receive flowers, to hold them down is kind of a bit shabby, isn't it? Especially going in church. She should have had both her hands around those and held them around about her waist, but that's her. Here we go. This is what I wanted you to see. The Call. This is by Quarantine MM on Tumblr. MM. Hello, press. I have access to all the royal jewels. Press. Hello, Buckingham Palace. BP. No, hang on. I think... Here we are. Hello, press. Her Majesty is throwing me a party at Balmoral. Hello, Buckingham Palace. Buckingham Palace. Hello? I guess the line got disconnected. Buckingham Palace, this is no longer a working number. If you feel there's been a mistake, please contact Meghan Markle. What it is, basically, is Quarantine MM is taking the mickey and trying to imagine what Meghan is doing by making all these calls to the press, because she does. And you know, this is what's remarkable now, and I've got to say this off the top of my head. She has come in and done absolutely spectacularly, and I don't care what people think of me for saying this. I have invested a lot of time in outing her, because she is a public figure, and any public figure, be it an MP, a member of the royal family, or anybody that takes our money and works for us as a civil servant, has to be squeaky clean. That's why I could never be a member of the royal family. I could never be a member of parliament. I've got a bad past, but you know, I'm cool with that. If Prince Charles said, I really want to marry you, I'd say, Charles, no, I'm sorry. You know, no, Charles, it's not going to happen. Because I care about the royal family. So when this little minx came in, I thought, oh God, no, this is not going to end well, because I knew that the royal family had no idea of what a dirty, rotten scoundrel, little grifter she was. And so I started, and it's funny because at the time, two years ago now, maybe more, we had a bigger battle. I mean, we didn't have as much evidence at the time. And also, you know, there was a lot of people saying, why are you being so bitchy and jealous? But something inside me right back then told me that this girl was a bad one. And gradually, all the papers, for Camilla Long to do an article in the Times is unprecedented. The Daily Express. Oh yeah, we've got another one. We've got the Daily Express today. Ooh, that was a good one. Oh, that's Camilla Long. I've done that one. Hang on, let me see if I've got the Express one here. Oh, here she is here. This is what she always wanted but could never achieve on her own. This was the planned end result from the grifting of the royal family. Bloody woman. Love this. Page 6 is big in the US for celebrity gossip. If they are starting to put negative articles out there, it's going to get worse in the USA and more public. Whoa, that's good to know. Yes, karma is happening and she deserves everything she gets. And I agree. I think we're going to start on the downward slope now. I think we've reached the top of that pinnacle of exposure. And I'm hoping that it's all going to be one great big lovely water slide to the bottom there and an ice cream after. You know, because this is page 6 here. There's an article. Ellen's getting called out for her trashy behaviour. Meghan's a diva behaviour. It's all getting called out now. And I can't be more grateful. Don't like divas. Never have done. Got no time for them at all in my life. Where's the Express one? I've got it. Here it is. And it's written by Christopher Wilson, who's a royal biographer. The penny has finally dropped for Prince Harry. Can he and Meghan go on? Asks Christopher Wilson. It's been the grimmest week of their lives together, and things look like they're only going to get worse. But however baffled and hurt we may feel by Harry and Meghan Markle's defection to America, the couple still need our sympathy. Ignore the last 6 words. I don't think they do. The long-awaited book they've pinned their hopes on, the one which would explain their actions, thoughts and feelings over the past couple of years, has been met with ridicule and in some places outright anger. Their dream charitable foundation, Sussex Royal, went into liquidation with the resignation of all its directors. Meghan's lawsuit against a newspaper seems to be floundering. She lost the first round in the proceedings and has been forced to pay £67,000 in legal fees. Her attempt to preserve the anonymity of her 5 friends secretly passing on selective information about her new life looks close to failure too. The couple's lifestyle continues to be ruinously expensive, with the whopping annual bill for personal protection coming out of Harry's pocket. Don't know about that. And Meghan's increased wealth since her marriage will now be subject to the scrutiny of the Internal Revenue Service. She'll now be asked to pay a small fortune in taxes. Way! If Harry starts to earn money in the US from lectures and personal appearances, as is his plan, he'll have to pay US taxes. Then again, their earnings in kind, like the loan of their Malibu house, the free flights on private jets, will also become subject to the draconian policies of the IRS. As each day of their self-imposed exile goes on, they must wonder again and again whether they made the right decision in quitting Britain last November. Back here, in UK, Harry's found that he's lost the power of royal after lecturing the travel industry on how to adapt to the future. He set himself up as an ethical travel expert with his new organisation, Travelist. In his first video since the controversial Finding Freedom was published on Wednesday, he made the opening speech in a virtual global summit on travel, urging the industry to build back better once the coronavirus pandemic has passed. But former Transport Minister Norman Baker gave Harry a scathing put-down, saying, "I'm afraid his credibility on the subject is lacking over his own jet-setting, which undermines his case." The message is fine, but the messenger is wrong. It's like a carnivore advocating vegetarianism. The online critic accused the couple of being entitled and seemingly tone-deaf to the world we live in today. A photo a few days ago of the couple clambering aboard a gas-guzzling 6-litre Cadillac SUV drew a howl of disapproval from a wider circle of online fans. Can Harry and Meghan go on like this? We have to understand that Meghan found herself out of her depth when she joined the royal circle, and she struggled to come to terms with the protocols which surround the family, hence her longing to return to more familiar territory. But now, in his turn, Harry will find it difficult to stay afloat in a Tinseltown culture so alien to his own. Crucially for Meghan, no studio seems to have stepped forward with the offer of a leading lady role. Her hopes and dreams. If they had, we'd have heard about it. It would seem the all-powerful studio bosses look on the couple as red carpet fodder and not as a bankable item. In Britain, they were a powerful force, but when Harry walked away from royal duties, he broke the magic thread which binds the royalty to the people. It's taken a long time for the penny to drop, but Harry has discovered he's no king of the high seas, but a castaway stranded on a desert island. Money worries, his dented global reputation, loss of friends, abandonment of all the things, places and people he holds dear. These are huge prices to pay. It says for a single mistake, but he's made several mistakes, hasn't he? What this couple need more than anything now is our sympathy and no. Ignore the last bit. Of course, Christopher Wilson has absolutely nailed it there, but he's trying to ask us to have compassion. No, these are not children. These are not even teenagers. They're not even in their 20s. They're in their 30s, and Meghan has been around the block. She has been around the block. She knows the score. And she knows not to give the milk away for free, as her mother told her many, many times. Loads of stupid things like that. She's as tight as a duck's ass, and that's watertight. She's mean. Harry was renowned as being a tightwad before he married Meghan. He didn't pay his Vegas bill, for instance, so he's been used to being carried by the royal family. Even looking at him now makes me sick, because I see now in his eyes, in his face, the pinched, that's that horrible little you owe me face, insolent. I don't like it at all. So no, I don't think anybody should have any sympathy. I think that if he grovels for the rest of his life and wears a mohair vest like Thomas of Becket underneath his shirt, that still wouldn't be enough for me, because as his grandmother on the throne, and it is the family, whether it's royal or not, family is family. Meghan has treated her family like absolute shit, and Harry's done the same, and it's worse, isn't it, when is the Queen as well, because not that it's not worse for what she's done to her dad, but the Queen is more of a public figure than her dad was, but since this has happened, her poor dad has been absolutely, well, by those sugars, they've called him terrible names, fat and useless. And nobody, no parent should ever be spoken to like that. If you think it, you don't say it. But I mean, you shouldn't even think it. If you think it, there's something wrong with you. And Harry, in my book, I think Harry has got mental health issues. I'm not talking mental health issues. It's a bit worse than that. He's got something. He's missing something. I don't know if he's autistic or OCD, one of those modern things. I'm not quite sure. But he's definitely a brick short of a load, so to speak. And Meghan, no, she's all there, but she's sly. And she's had too much in her life where she hasn't quite got where she wanted because she chose to be in Tinseltown. It's her own bloody fault. If you want to put yourself up against the biggest and the best actresses and the prettiest and the slimmest, and those, if you want to compete against those, you've got to be tough. And of course she did. And let's be honest, she didn't really have anything that made her stand out. I think she knew that, really. She's okay as a complete package, but take her features bit by bit, there's nothing there. She wasn't happy with her nose, obviously. She wasn't happy with her teeth, obviously. She wasn't happy with her hair, obviously. And happy with her skin colour. Her legs are bloody awful. She's got no waist, but I'm not picking on her. She could have wore a corset, but I suppose that's painful as anything. But, know your limits. Know your limits. That's all I'm saying. Be level-headed enough to know what you can and can't do. If you're not pretty or you haven't got a good figure, then use something else that you got. Everybody's got a quality of them in somewhere. I don't know what Meghan's was. To be honest, I don't think she had any endearing features. Just an insatiable greed to make herself noticed, and it's unhealthy. One last thing I wanted to show you before we go. I found this ages ago, but what I've done is I put it back up at the front of my here we go. Right, that's look bottom right there, Doria Raglan. If she was such a good social worker, clinical psychiatrist, whatever, as per my yesterday's video, that her Wikipedia page now describes her as, well, one step down from Dr. Seuss, isn't she? Or Park Dietz, or somebody, some big heavyweight medical specialist. Well, how come she was taking courses in Santa Monica College for jewellery design and pearl knotting, multi-strand bracelets, and making wraps? She was charging £39 for a course with Doria Raglan. Pearl knotting, wraps, and multi-strand bracelets. That's the book that I was telling you about with the community cookbook, but somebody turned it into another book. And there we are. I just want to show you this. That's Tom Markle's CV with LinkedIn, I suppose. He left school at 13. Yeah, that's their wedding certificate. You can pause this and take a look at it. There's quite a lot of information. Highest school grade completed for Tom was 13. And Doria was born in Ohio, and she was in school until she was 15. So I think it says 15. Anyway, you can take a look at that. Pause it and look at it, because I'm going to say cheerio now. I'll find some more stuff for you for tomorrow. And thank you so much for listening. I'll be back tomorrow. Cheerio! 43 minutes. Bloody hell, Sage. You can't have talk.